look at the screen like we were paying attention. And here we go. It says we're going live. It says that we are live for the August 2022 Westlake Charter School Board meeting. Hello out there on YouTube Landia. I will make sure that we're all up on the screen here in the boardroom and that we're live at the high school as well. Board President Golick, you have the floor.
Thank you. We are meeting tonight in person, but as you know out there on YouTube, you are able to participate by emailing admin@westlakecharter.com. We just ask that you put the subject that you're commenting on, or put the item that you're commenting on in the subject line, and please try to limit it to 250 words, and we'll do everything possible to read it during that item. With that said, Amy, will you please take the roll?
Yes. Pope.
Here.
Sean.
Here.
Josh.
Here.
Katie. Here. Yep. Michelle. And Nerali.
I think it's on.
Here.
Well, we heard you. We heard you for sure.
Are your numbers on? Is the light not on? No, you have no.
It comes on and then turns off.
All right, I hope we need you to lean in that mic and give it a go. Let me just test it real quick on this side. Go ahead. We're going to switch mics with you, and then I will use my mic that's built into my computer.
So should I start over again?
No, you're good.
Okay. So we're still good with going with roll?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And we got all...
Yes. Oh, she says you're good now.
Okay. So with that, let's go ahead and go to celebrations. We'll get the technology all worked out. By the end of the meeting...
Yeah. We got it.
For right now. We'll just have to keep... Who wants to go first? Sean, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. I will celebrate that I've got 2 kids who have started school already, and that went well. And I've got another one who will be starting college in about a week and a half. So that's exciting and nerve-wracking all at once.
Nerali?
Sure, I can go second. I'm excited. My first child started transitional kindergarten today. It was a big deal. We're excited. We're looking forward to that.
Yay. Mrs. Davis?
I'm going to celebrate the launch of the school year in our high school, expanding to 10th grade and having double the students on that campus this year.
Double their size in 1 year. Love it.
There was so much to celebrate.
You're going to have to either hold the button down until it turns red or just shout across the room.
There you go.
So
Oh.
funny. All the batteries work until we turn them all on.
There. Oh.
That's okay, Steve. I got my mic on, which is super hot, so if you just speak at Steve volume, it should be fine.
No, there's a lot to celebrate. We started the sophomore year. I have a sophomore. She had a great first day. PD, kids back on campus, families back on campus. I think that celebration, though, for me is Everest was live and in person during the staff first 5 PD, so super excited to see Everest make a little appearance. So, there we go.
Love it. Thank you.
Josh?
My mic doesn't work. I tried. It's just, I celebrate the first day of school. I just love the buzz in the air. The weather was nice to us to start it off and just see all the teachers back on campus with smiles on their faces, waving all the kids in. It's a good time.
Love it.
I want to celebrate Miss Gallenbore's wings. Dr. Ike had clued me in that there might be a wing appearance at Meet the Teacher, and they are just so fabulous and so pretty, and I love seeing pictures of them, and I just thought it was a great way to let families connect with you and look for you, and I just really appreciate you doing that.
Giving them the ability to just play like kids at recess and sit with friends at lunchtime. It feels good. The kids are so excited to go through the surgery for lunch again.
So it's great to see them back in the mode.
Did nobody say morning lineup? Am I taking morning lineup?
I was leaving it for you.
You're the best.
I know.
I like to celebrate morning lineup. It is so fun. On the kindergarten through 5th grade side of the house to have, 600 students and we had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of. I think on the first day, I'm not sure we might have had more parents than kids. It was hundreds of families out there, so it's great. I love the community building.
We are, or what I say?
What?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, it's going to be one of those nights, I can tell. Board comments. So this is a time where if board members want to make comments for items that aren't on the agenda or other announcements, that they're free to do so. I'll just make a quick one. There's a lot of local elections that are currently open for people to file paperwork and run for. Governments need volunteers like everybody here to step up and take on those positions. So if you are interested, just go to Sac County Elections and see what's open. You might be surprised. There might be something that fits your interest. With that, let's go to public comments. Dr. Ike, do we have any?
I'm looking at the email and see no public comments here. Are there any public comments in the room? Just checking. And then, let's see, Mrs. Darris and Mr. Seamus, are there any public comments over there at the high school?
No, sir. No public comments.
All right, well done. It's great to see the two of you. Thank you so much for manning the station over there. Okay, so no public comments.
So just as a reminder for people who may be watching on YouTube and knowing we had mic difficulties at the beginning, you can continue to email us throughout the evening at admin@westlakecharter.com, and we will check that so that you have an opportunity to participate if you'd like to. That brings us to reports, and our first report is from Amber Husted.
Okay, I think we have a camera and a mic. Hi. I'm Amber Husted. I think we've had a great start to the school year. It started back in June. I went to kindergarten assessments and met hundreds of new parents and guardians joining our school and some returning, and it was just fun to get in front of everybody again and kind of answer their questions. And they all have started volunteering and figuring out kind of where they want to be. Then we did the kindergarten play dates. We met with kindergarten families yesterday. So there's been just a lot of outreach that way. We have lots of people volunteering. And then we're slowly starting to rebuild communities. Some of those, not communities, committees. So trying to get events kind of off the ground. We did schedule all of our typical WAVE meetings, and we have a lot of coffee talks coming up, and we've changed it up a bit where we're gonna do some in the morning at this campus, some in the morning at the high school campus, and then some in the evenings to make sure that we reach everybody that we can. And so we're really just focused on trying to get things back to normal and reaching out to as many families as we can. And we're excited for a good year here.
It's going to be a great year. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So our next three reports are for our committees of impact, development, and finance. And because we did the workshop, there weren't any meetings last month, but Dr. Ike and I talked about leaving them on the agenda as a shout-out opportunity for people who might be listening into the meeting or watching at home, that we are always open to taking on new members, and this is a great time to join a committee or come to a committee meeting. So Charter Impact and Finance. Sean, do you know the date of our next meeting? 25th. So Finance will be at 5 p.m. and Charter Impact will be at 6 p.m. on August 25th here in the multipurpose room in the library. And then Development is meeting this coming Monday, again at 5 p.m. So please feel free to come out and check out those meetings and participate. Governance did meet tonight. Everything we discussed today is on the agenda, so I'll go ahead and leave it to that when it comes up, and I'll kick it over to Dr. Ike for his Executive Director report.
Cool. Can I steal your microphone?
Of course.
I think I'm having microphone issues. I don't know. And we're back. All right. Well, hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. I'm excited to launch the show because the show always starts the way it always starts, and that's with celebrations. And on the first week of school, there's always lots of celebrations. We had whittled down the pictures. We had lots of them. Hey, this summer we had amazing summer intervention teachers. So if we haven't talked about that since it happened, we had summer school or summer intervention. We had an amazing crew, and it was run by our assistant principal here on the K-8, Allison Chavez, who just crushed it. So a wonderful summer launch. And then right before school opened, we had kindergarten play dates. And there is Jessica Gambor, our our K-8 principal reading a book to the kinders out in the park, which was a ton of fun. I think that kinder to the far left might be a Kaya'u. I'm not sure, but no. We've seen the Kaya'u son on campus. He's been amazing. Here is our team getting back together. All 142 staff members came out. I'll talk a little bit today about the PD that we went through in our first 5, but one of our best moments was when none other than Melissa Greenholz climbed up on the roof to play photographer, and she's got a great selfie. We should put that one in there. But we spelled WCS on the left, and we spelled I on the right. Look, you can't have a first 5 without some silliness and some fun and some storytelling. And I'll talk about this a little bit today, but to look at the smiles on the faces of people who have been here for years and people who's their first year, it was a cool way to start the year. And, I wouldn't want to do it anywhere else. Look at the way we jam. Is that, I'm not sure who that is doing the genie.
Looks like someone taller than Steve.
What's that? Is there someone taller than Steve?
You want to share?
Oh, that's me in the background, yes. That's me in the background on the chair. Oh, finally. That was it. The moment that I was taller than Steve from 20 feet away on a chair. Love it. There actually might be a freshman taller than you. Or is that the young man we met yesterday? He's a pretty big guy. Great kid. We had Meet the Teacher, and we'll hear from our principal tonight about Meet the Teacher. But welcoming families back on campus was really a highlight of this week so far. Having Meet the Teacher and having families on campus on the first day. We can go picture after picture after picture of just people being together. But I'll save some of that for our winged principal there, who's wearing her blue wings. Awesome welcome back day on both campuses, high school and K-8. Watching the students come in, like you said, the high school doubled in size, and seeing all of our students has been amazing. And all the K-8 all being lined up at morning lineup has been really special. So welcome back, everybody. Meet the Teacher event was spectacular. And our leader events, the web leader event and then the high school orientation were spectacular. We train our students to onboard or lead our new students into our program. So Mrs. Batten and the 10th graders leading in the 9th graders, Mrs. Ho and Mrs. Erickson leading in the 6th graders in the middle school. Just awesome days. Those training days are fantastic. And you can see Mrs. Batten. She's right there on stage, kind of right behind a tree there. Sorry about that, Mrs. Batten. But it was a spectacular event out there in the Oasis. Sports have kicked off. So if you never did high school sports or haven't had a student in high school sports, summer conditioning is a thing, and it's been happening, right? Dr. Galloway and our cross country team have been out there every morning running, doing their thing. Volleyball is up and running. Fall sports is up and running. It is fantastic. The buzz is in the air on fall sports. I think we're going to be crushing it. I'm going to dive right into my strategic actions. I think they're fairly short. And then during my updates, I'm going to have our K-8 principal and our high school principal give you some updates from the first day of school. So the 3 things I want to talk about in regards to our first 5 were some trainings that we did, some team building and culture building, and some professional development. You can see over there on that little website there, that's our Westlake Weekly, which you're all familiar with. For the first 5 days of school, there was a blue button there that said, click here for the first 5. It took you to another website with all of our training and professional development materials for those first 5 days. The first thing I'd like to say is that we kind of changed the game up a little bit. We typically do our certificated staff come back for our first 5, and our classified staff come back like on day 3, and they're here days 3, 4, and 5. At some point we said, isn't it worth bringing the classified staff in for all 5 days? So that on day 1, when we go, hey, health and safety, what are the COVID protocols this year? Your yard duties, your instructional aides, your office staff, all of your staff are all on one page. When we go over emergency preparedness, what's the difference between a lockdown and a lockout? How do we evacuate? Where's my evacuation numbers? What's my protocol during a shelter in place versus a stop, drop, and roll? No, it's not that one. It's the other one. What are all those protocols? Having the classified staff here was, I don't know that we'll ever go back. It was the first time we did it when we had classified here for all 5. And it was really worth having the teams here for all of our school-wide procedures. How do we get to recess? How do we arrive? How do we dismiss? It was great having the team together. And then we had a really powerful presentation from our Director of Student Support Services, Kevin Seamus. It was really interesting because we took the time to do a deep dive into student support services, which we typically do with certificated staff because I think we are used to talking about what it's like, what it means to be a full inclusion program. But we thought, hey, what an opportunity here. Our instructional aides, our yard duties, our office staff, everyone should have the opportunity to hear, what does this mean? This thing we're always talking about, full inclusion, student support services, how our special education program may be different from the one down the street, and we think maybe better. So that was a great opportunity for everybody as we went through trainings really in day 1 and day 2. Yeah, can they not see the presentation on YouTube? What can they see?
Just our, quoting Monty, just our beautiful faces in the group.
How do we look?
Beautiful, she said.
Spectacular.
I said I was afraid to interrupt you. I'm going to move over here next to Hope now.
Yeah.
I was just thinking how gutsy it was for you to sit.
I know, right? Let's pause for station identification. I'm gonna turn down my audio so we don't get any feedback. Let's jump on the YouTubes and see what we see. Do 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 Scooby Doo.
Monty wouldn't see the presentation.
Yeah, I think she's talking about Google Meet. She doesn't need to see it for Google Meet unless she has an audience member, but it should be streaming to YouTube because this screen from OBS streams.
Hold on, let me see if Bob can see it.
Thank you so much.
That's what I meant.
All right. Thanks, A-Dub. You did a great job. And we're back. Hey, thanks for dinner. The dinner was good. Dinner was good. Hey, no, it's good. It's good. One person's watching and it's you. And thank you. But it is important. By the end of next week, we will get 100 views. And that's what's great about the YouTube is that, like, it archives this work. And so it's really important, I think, that we continue to stream to YouTube, even though we don't have to anymore. Because, look, like, people can then look through it later. But if they can't see it at the high school, it's because I haven't mirrored the slides to the Google Meet. But if they have somebody present, we'll just turn on the YouTube.
Well, it's also a good reminder, too, for people watching us. Like, there's a lot of side board faces because
We're looking at the screen up there.
looking at the screen.
Yeah.
So it looks weird in the meet.
Yeah.
Not looking at the camera. So for people watching us, like, it's not a bad reminder that we have to all look at the one screen.
Yeah. I love this protocol. I mean, we could have ditched the YouTube and we could have not done this live and just gone back to this, but I love that somebody can tomorrow night go, oh yeah, what did they talk about? And see it. So yeah, sorry for the profile looks, but we think it's worth it.
Totally worth it.
Yeah.
It's just one of those moments.
Might as well call it out. Right. If you're looking at our profile, this is why.
Dr. I, quick question. Do you also keep the computer audio on for yourself when you're speaking, only the speakerphone? Because the past 2 YouTube videos, I couldn't hear you when I had gone back to look. So
You could not?
Could not. Only you, though. So I just want to make sure we're considering if this is not being heard, that you have a secondary thing as an option, or
Yep.
just something in the future. Sorry. Reminded
It's
me
good.
of you.
Hey, you want to step out of the room and turn up your audio? And I'll talk about you. You know what I really appreciate?
Sorry, I just thought of
Amber Husted. Amber, hey, Brock, can you hear us? Or can you hear me? I think she would have said she could. Oh, Block's our one viewer. Thanks, Blocky Block. Okay, Amber Husted's outside to see if she can hear. Hey, we might as well get all the tech stuff glitched out. We want to have a good meeting, right? It's good. It's good.
The thing I can say about Westlake is we always take it as a learning process.
Yeah. All right. Jessica Block meant to text and say, hey, you're good. And she said, you're God. Well, thank you. We are the gods of the YouTubes. This has quickly become. This is the second day of school. We've all been up for 72 hours now, and we're going to go back. And we're back. All right. So right up here, we're talking about professional development and team and culture building. So look, in the first 5, I think we knocked out some great training, health and safety, emergency preparedness. I call those trainings because they're really like logistical, like what do you do, when you have to do, what you need to do, versus professional development. And we'll talk about that next. But this is kind of a conversation around team building and culture building. This is a big deal for us because we included both certificated and classified staff in the team building piece. We got out on the blacktop and we shared stories and we played silly games and we laughed. And, you know, somebody might look at that and be like, well, you spent how much time sharing stories? Oh, look at those faces. If you could zoom in on that screen, it is worth every moment we spend building these relationships. We did this, though, so we can lead to the professional development that I'm going to tell you about on the next slide. And, we built team norms. We discussed, much like we did at our workshop, Herman Brain and what are our personality preferences and how do we collaborate best as a team. Now, if you're new to this school and you see 142 people laughing on the blacktop and playing these games, you're like, but then you go through the next section, you're like, hey, why do we have team norms? How do we team? Well, how is every voice included? How do personality preferences build into all of this work? It really helped us to prepare for the launch. You'll also note, like if you look at one of my goals, which is about reconnecting our community, I know that is about working with Wave, working with our families, staying on the YouTubes, but it's also about building this community of certificated and classified employees being together and saying, my goodness, we might have been separated by a screen for years, but it's time for us to come back together and build this place that's so special to our entire community. So we did a lot of that in the first few days, and it was just, again, I think it was worth it to have all 142 staff members there. I wish I could have had you the board there. It was gold. And then the last piece is kind of going into professional development, right? Trainings are the pragmatics that how do we do what we do. Professional development is kind of elevating our own skills to respond appropriately in a work setting. And all of our instructional aides and all of our yard duties attended a full day of de-escalation professional development, which is really powerful, right? Being able to de-escalate somebody who's suffering from anxiety. You have a young child who's on a blacktop filled with 200 kids playing recess. They can get escalated so quickly, and if all of our staff have appropriate de-escalation training, boy, it's just great for our staff. And then this PD, I really wanted to speak to. It was a full day of professional development with a gentleman by the name of Dr. Chad Dumas, and he came out from Iowa. Looking right now, yeah, it was Iowa. He wrote a book that we read on the admin side of the house, and he is an expert in professional learning communities. And if you'll look at our strategic plan, goal 2, area 2, it talks about Westlake Charter staff will use professional learning communities model of collaboration to ensure academic and social emotional readiness, right? So you look at that strat plan, something we wrote in 2019 and we thought in about January of 2020 we were ready. January 2020 we were bringing in Chad, people were ready. And then in March of 2020 you all remember what happened. So we're very excited to get back to this work that we all laid out in the strat plan. You can see all the tweets of everybody saying, hey, we're all in. And it was a really, that's my time. It was really a powerful day, but it was one day in what's going to be a long journey to just continually grow our proficiency in this area of ensuring academic and social emotional readiness through these collaborative protocols that he introduced, things like common formative assessments on a very regular basis. And, we love the work. We're launching a guiding coalition of teachers who will lead this workforce, and our director of curriculum instruction, Jen Kaya, is leading this work, and so maybe she'll come out and present to us in a couple of months and tell us how that's going. Loved the first 5. I'll jump into, I think I have one update slide, and I'll have our principals update us on the first day of school. I just want to talk enrollment. I think this is the slide I have. So kindergarten through 8th grade, we're fully enrolled at 1,000 students. All seats are filled. We have a wait list of 1,432. That is actually up from last year by over 100. That is a very large wait list. But it speaks to the health of our organization. I think since we've opened up the high school, there's more interest in the K-8. We've always had high interest in the K-8, but having that beacon at the end of our edu journey is drawing even more people in. I think we're actually seeing increased interest in middle school, I think, as it bridges toward high school as well. So that's working very well. High school enrollment, 110 plus no wait list there, plus 140 tenth puts us right at that 250 mark. Remember, end of senior year, we want to be 500 kids. We have 250 now, so we are on track for hitting our mark. What's interesting though is there's with 140 sophomores, still 21 on the wait list, which really is a telling story, I think, about the high school, that people have spent their freshman years somewhere else. Thank you. And are trying to get over, and hey, my kid would like a fresh start. I heard your school is going really well. So I will turn it over to our incredible K-8 principal for a K-8 principal's report. Please welcome to the podium. You can see her up on the slide there with blue Everest wings, Jessica Gallenbohr.
Hi, everyone. It has been a super exciting opening to the school year. There have been so many different events that have happened just in the last week. And so, again, we are fully staffed at Westlake in our K-8 site, and we had events like Meet the Teacher. So all of the community coming back on campus for the first time in a few years and being able to not only meet their teachers, tour the classroom. There was Kona ice in the back. There was a uniform swap. They had the walking school bus booth that was there, getting people signed up. It was amazing, and the turnout was phenomenal. I had Blue Everest, the Explorer wings, so that people could identify like who the new principal was, and it was super cute because, from across the way you could see kids being able to point and identify, like, there she is, and then parents leading their child over and pushing them in front of me to say hello, and then giving them a little sticker. So meeting all of the students and families was amazing. I have to admit, it was like a Disney princess moment for sure.
I love that.
Yeah, and so phenomenal event, and then we brought back for the first day of school morning lineup. So again, like the whole community coming on campus with their students, everybody excited for the first day of school. The dots, every student had their own dot and lined up and found their teachers, and just a great way to unify all of us and kind of build that community back after this period of COVID. So right after we were done on the first morning, the first day of school, we had the kindergarten boohoo woohoo, which was really cute because it's an emotional day. You're dropping off your student for the first day of kindergarten. It's a big, big moment. And so there were a few tears, not too many, but had some treats and coffee for everyone, got parents signed up for WAVE. It was a great welcome to the school day. And then also yesterday, today, and then tomorrow, we're finishing up our kindergarten conferences. So parents have been meeting with the kinder teachers and getting to share about their student right away at the beginning of the school year, learning about their child. And the kindergartner teachers they're just phenomenal, so patient and so kind. So it's been a great opening for the school year. A couple updates about our facilities. Over the summer, before school started, we had the opportunity to add a shade structure to that beautiful playground right there. So great for this heat to be able to see the kids and even adults being able to supervise out there with some shade over them. And then there's a little map kind of showing the morning lineup structure. It really does go all the way across the blacktop, and each student has their own particular space to stand. It's pretty cool. And then that's the newly painted numbers for classrooms, to also show on the back end that we have a clear development for evacuation, so a new kind of drill since the dots were moved. So anyway, it's been a really exciting time, and I'm so happy to be part of Westlake, and looking forward to the rest of the school year.
You've done a great job. Thank you so much for leading us through the first few days. Mrs. Patton, our high school principal, with the WCHS Principals Report.
I think I animated a little bit.
Yeah, you did. I'm ready. I got
together
my
on that
clicky
one.
clicker click.
So I also come to update on staffing, and if you were with us last year, these numbers look much increased. So we are a staff, I thought I could see the screen and I can't, so I'm going to use the screen down here. So we're at 23 total staff. Certificate, on the certificate side, we went from 7 certificated staff members to 18.
Wow.
So very exciting. And then classified staff total is 5, and we are still looking to fill 1 classified position. So I put that out there on the YouTube.
Yeah,
to say,
if you're looking.
come join the amazing team at Westlake Charter High School. We'll talk about some events that happened. Dr. Ike celebrated our 9th grade orientation, where our 10th grade leadership class students got to welcome our 9th graders on campus. And we told them, we said, in high schools across America, there are orientations taking place where the juniors and seniors are given the honor of welcoming on freshmen. And sophomores are not given that opportunity. Our sophomore class I know many of you have heard me talk about them over the past year, are just a phenomenal group of leaders. And so they took that challenge on, I'm going to say better than any other sophomore class could, and really welcomed students to our school, made them feel welcome, made them feel connected, told them about who we are at Westlake Charter High School. So it was so cool to hear a student say, whoa, 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 we don't do that in the hallway here. And I was like, yes. So
Nice.
I want to celebrate 9th and 10th graders, and I have a picture here. I love a good story. So I came across these two students in the hallway. I happened to know the student on the right we met through math placement assessments, and the student on the left is a student who attended Westlake Charter School for this past several years. I was like, did you two know each other? Because they were talking and laughing in the hallway at lunch, like best friends who had been friends for years. I'm like, nope, we just met. And so last year, if you remember, in October, after our masquerade ball, I came out and showed you a picture of 9 students, where 5 of them were brand new to Westlake and 4 of them were new students. And I just, as we continue to grow, that same trend is continuing. So you've got friendships being formed. I asked Genesis, are you good at making friends? Because I'm not very good at making friends. And she's like, no, not really. It just feels really easy here. And so it was, that friendship moment between students, and that's happening all over campus. And then the picture in the upper right corner is of our Link crew groups, our 9th grade orientation groups. They walked around dressed up and did the tour. So we had this group with lights on. You'll notice that there is a Houston in that picture who does not have lights on. As he walked past me, he slyly showed me that his lights were in his pocket. Nice play, Mr. Houston. Nice play.
Houston.
And then a celebration, and again, if you know me, you know I hesitate to celebrate things in advance. So we're just going to talk about this event. We are excited to be sending home Chromebooks tomorrow with all of our 9th and 10th grade students. So last week, as we sent out schedules, we, for the very first time, sent out a Chromebook policy to our families, telling them, hey, the Chromebook is coming home, and it's going to be a device like a textbook that goes back and forth. This is how we want to use it. Our students are talking in their advisory classes about setting up procedures at home to ensure that it is kept clean and safe and in working condition. And we've got quite a crew at the high school tomorrow afternoon helping to distribute. At this moment, we've got 210, I think, Chromebook policies signed. And so those students will be getting their Chromebooks, and then we'll continue to pass those out over the next few days next week.
Not that she's watching on YouTube, but a huge shout out to Jessica Block and her whole team. My goodness, right?
Thank you for saying
that.
that.
Yeah, call it out.
Jessica Block has just, from the moment we began talking about this, before it was ever a reality, about a year ago, we're like, hey, we'd like to see how we could send home devices. And we had just come off the heels of sending home devices to transition to distance learning. So she took some of the learns that we had from that, reached out to several school districts that do Chromebook or device send homes, and developed a phenomenal program, both to acquire those devices, get them ready to
and get
send
the
home.
right devices, get them
sure
set up the right way. I mean, she has just been
and she is
instrumental.
Really amazing, all while making sure that people feel like they have what they need in their classroom spaces. So she just continues to be such a phenomenal person. Oh, there's Friendships Morning. I was just talking about that there, but I just couldn't wait. So.
That's good.
And I'll also update on our facility. I really love our East Commerce facility. I get asked a lot, like, hey, when's Real High School coming? And I'm always like, this is our Real High School. We will continue to look forward to what's possible out there. But our facility last year served our program so well. And I have to say that as we doubled in size, that building the feeling is enhanced. It is just, you walk past classrooms right now, and do you want to click that? I'm going to either talk through slides without, I'm going to talk and talk and talk and not be guided. So you've got classrooms filled with amazing learning. We're using this space in new ways as we've learned how to, use the niche for small group work, but also maybe a quick class taught out there. Our Commons has been used every day for classroom space, which is exciting. Teachers are beginning to venture into the Oasis, our outdoor space for classroom learning as well. We've got a theater elective on campus this year, and Mr. Rubin, our theater teacher, is just talking about, we could do this. We could do a mini play or like a monologue in this corner because the sound is so good. So it's exciting to see our building being used in new ways by all of these people who are coming in with fresh ideas, and it's
Yeah.
really invigorating the whole staff. Also, just a shout out to our partners at Natomas Unified School District Nutrition Services. As we doubled in size, we've had some good summer conversations around ensuring that our lunch line and lunch service met the increased demand, and they have brought a food truck that you can see on the campus. So that food truck is on campus every day. We have 2 points of service. So we have an indoor salad bar and a grab and go. For the past couple days, been sandwiches, but with intention is some grab and go items, and then some hot food service. So mac and cheese and hot spicy chicken sandwiches were outside today, and it's really helped. We've gone from about 20 minutes of service last year down to 10 minutes yesterday with doubling our size. So again, we just continue to celebrate that partnership and look forward to continue to improve it. So that's all. That's all I have.
What I did ask that both principals leave as soon as possible, get home because they have gotten exhausted. So please, let's thank them for being here for longer than thank you guys.
John, before we take consent, will you please just double check for any public comments that might have come in?
I will do that now. Do 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 do. No public comments.
Tonight, we had 3 items on consent, items A, B, and C. However, we did not receive any monetary donations for July, and so we would really just be looking for a motion as to items A and C, if there aren't any questions. Thank you, Josh. Is there a second?
Hope?
Yes.
Sean?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Nirali?
Yes.
Thank you. That brings us to our next item, which is on the regular agenda, which is accept and approve changes to Board Policy 0732. That's a long time. To adopt changes required by Cal Education Code 51747 and 11701 of the California Code of Regulations, all related to independent study. Governance Committee did review and recommend adoption of the policy changes earlier tonight. However, we do need to conduct a public hearing. So if there aren't any board comments at this point, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing.
Should we wait for the YouTube delay and see if any public want to comment via email at admin@westalecharter.com? Is that what we're doing?
Perfect.
I'm speaking slowly so that the delay happens. Do 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 do. Actually, I think I'm coming through on the YouTube. I don't think you are. I think it's that mic, because I can see on my side like it's going live hot. But I don't know.
Let's try that. Block says she can hear us.
Block says she can hear us. I trust Block. I trust Monty too. Sorry, Monty. I don't.
You're on YouTube.
Well, you're just putting him in some really
yeah,
awkward
right, yeah,
positions
just-
tonight.
Hope next board meeting we'll sit next to each other. We'll
This
put
doesn't work. Can I just say this doesn't work?
I think.
He moved me.
I think.
It's very distracting for me, and then it just doesn't work.
I think the problem we're having though is Monty is on Google Meet, and then there's YouTube. And there's 2 different streams. So as long as Block can hear us.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna go back to
Just to make sure that we
the
haven't
email.
received any emails during this public hearing
We have
period.
received no emails during this public hearing.
Okay, so now I will go ahead and close the public hearing and either entertain additional board discussion or take a motion to approve. I thought you were going to public comment there for a second. You're a little late. Just choosing. Right?
Oh my goodness.
I believe Sean is about to make a motion.
I am. I will move the item.
Thank you, Sean. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Josh.
Hope?
Yes.
Sean?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Yes.
Neurology?
Yes.
Perfect. And then I think items A and B really do kind of tail together, and so we probably won't address them separately. We'll just discuss them together right now. John, did you want to kick that off?
Yeah, I think, just checking my mic. Okay, it looks like I can hear me. I think what I'd like to do is go back to this conversation from our board workshop and encourage each of the board members to meet me on this website. So either you can scan that QR code with your phone, if that's what you want to do, or with the Chromebook in front of you, if you want to open up a new tab, you're okay to do that while you're still on the Google Meet. And go to wcsinfo.cc/WCS board. Because if we got to this board website, it would help us kick off our conversation around strategic plan review, exec and board goal review, and how any board member would be able to give feedback and enter either a celebration or a setback. And I'm going to demonstrate that theoretically on this screen. So if you've arrived right here, can I get like a thumbs up, a head nod, or something, a shrug, throw something?
I'm getting there.
Yes, that's why I was, we won't say who on YouTube. There, there's a hand, there's a thumbs up.
I'm good.
So if you were here and we were going to talk about strategic plan goals, you can go to the strategic plan page. If you want to talk about the board goals or the exec goals or even our WAS goals, you can review those here. Now, what I wanted you to have an opportunity to do, we're in no hurry. You could just take a moment. You could kind of look through the board goals. And if you think to yourself, gosh, just in the last couple of days, we've done something as a school entity that has helped move us in the direction of meeting one of these goals. So like, for example, the WCS board will make efforts to improve public access by greater involvement at functions. Maybe you as a board member were purposefully out at Meet the Teacher, or you were out at the Boo-Hoo Woo-Hoo. If that was true, you might say, oh, I did something to help move us toward a goal. Maybe you're looking at the executive director goals and you're thinking, hey, you know what? I recognize the executive director is really trying to reconnect our community by onboarding new leadership. We had the K-8 new principal here tonight. She's on YouTube for the first time. Hey, that was kind of moving us toward achieving that goal. Or you're over here on the strategic plan website and you're in your spare time looking at strategic, I'm going to open it up so it's bigger. And you say to yourself, gosh, like, I wonder how we're doing on our strategic plan goals. And you're like, gosh, just today, didn't John say that we just held a 8-hour professional development on professional learning communities? If any of those things like are a light bulb for you, like on any area, the way you would acknowledge that as a board member, is right here on this Google form. So I'm going to model it for you. And if you'd like to take, we'll just take like a couple of minutes. You can look through the goals and you could think back for this experiment right now, as far as like, think back 6 months. You might want to log, I participated in an international festival as a board member. Or, hey, I saw us really work on some SEL processes last year. Anything in the last 6 months that makes you think, I think we met that goal. You just come here. It would say, hey, please select what team you are. Are you part of the admin team? Are you me? I'm me. Are you, or are you one of the committee members? You just select board member. Let me zoom a little bit. And you'd go to what goals you want to fill out. You're like, oh, I want to talk about goal area 2. Click next. Which one? The one about PLC. And then I type it in. And I would just say, it was great, ... It was great to see, the team did 8 hours of training around PLC. And when you hit submit, it's going to show up on a spreadsheet. What I'd ask you to do right now is take 5 minutes, go to this website, look through the strat plan, or look through the exec goals and board goals, and you can log something on here. Even if we get just one thing logged, we'll put it up on the screen tonight and we'll read it out loud. So whatever you put in tonight I'll read out loud on the screen, and then we'll discuss this as a process. Hope, does that feel okay? All right, cool. Take 5 minutes, everybody. If you don't hear us on the YouTube for 5 minutes, it's because we're being quiet. Cool. I should play music. Or should I have my guitar?
Da, 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 da. No.
And I will actually go back, because I'm not the board member. I'm the executive director. And we'll say, looks like we got a few in there. Hold up a finger if you still need still need a minute. Still need one. Still need one. Take it. Phone. Big phone. It's brand new. It's a mini. It's a 12 mini. Yeah. It's like a little phone. No, I can't because now I don't want my glasses. Okay, all right. I'm gonna go over here. The fish partner. Anybody still need a minute? All right, cool. Oh, okay. I'll slow roll. Copy. Yeah. Copy. So if I were on the strategic plan page here, I could go down to the bottom of the page and see some data, right? So we know that these goals over here, these board goals are brand new. We already have one entry on them. We know the executive director goals just launched today. So we've got no progress on those. Way to go, John. But we can see over here we've got almost 600 entries on our strat plan goals. And let's see what happened tonight. Now, this is a process. I bring it up tonight so you can kind of see the process for you to give celebrations and setbacks on all of these goal areas. And this is what we do in admin. These 569 narrative pieces of data have all been entered by admin, and we do that during our regular meeting time. We go, hey, everybody, take 5 minutes, update this. Yeah, good stuff. Again, Westlake's, we sprinkled a little Westlake on this. Quantitative goal setting and measuring is important, but this qualitative, this is so school to me, right? School is partly a qualitative process, so it's great to hear our stories. Hope?
I was going to say, the one piece I really like, and it's both a positive and a challenge, is because this form was originally designed specifically for the strategic plan, not having the goals and everything on that same page to refer to.
Are they on which?
Right, I can go
page?
back and bring them up. So I had two screens open just to sort of frame it because they're all to the left, right?
On the strat plan page. Like, do you
Right.
want them? Do you want them like down here, or are you saying on this page?
Well, because it's all there, I'm just highlighting that for me, not having all the documents I could be commenting
Totally.
on at one plate on that page was more challenging, but I totally understand why it's that way, so I'm not asking for a change.
Oh, I'm looking for a change. I'm like, hey, I gotta make it.
But does
cool.
that make sense, John? Like, so they're all there, but then like the deliverables aren't there. I just don't know. I
okay.
don't know what the method will be eventually
Got it.
to having information available to like fully weigh in.
Yeah, so I tried to put, so it's on the form, I pasted over the goals in these goal
Mm-hmm.
selections, but if it would help the board to have not only the strat plan here, but also like ED goals and board goals down here, I mean, it's a quick copy and paste. Or any other suggestions you have, throw them my way, I'll try and play with it.
I don't want to crowd the page. I mean, I get how it's just, that was for me one
Yeah.
of those things. Sometimes, you know me, I like having
The documents right there, yeah.
So,
love
I
it.
mean, that's just my own personal thing. And if anyone else was having a similar issue, I just thought
Yeah.
I'd mention it.
Yeah, I love it.
Can we make a hyperlink that if somebody wanted the additional document, they could click on the hyperlink?
Yeah, I would take them right over
right there,
right over
where it
those
says
goals.
Loading the documents on the front screen.
Yeah. Yeah, that link to there. Yeah, so if you were on this page and wanted to click back over to this page, you could toggle. But yeah, I love it. Any other thoughts, questions, or concerns on this? So this is us saying, hey, I think we're moving in a direction toward our goals, but let's go to the next conversation, which is really about goal.
Yeah, you had it there up.
I
So I was
know.
just going to say, you just hit back. It'll be right there.
I saw
or
this, but I
forward.
really wanted to grab the agenda. I just want to make sure we're hitting, calling that out before I go there.
Yes.
There you go. Do we want to go right into this conversation then?
Yes, please.
All right. So I have put the board goals on a slide, and I think it.
Actually, the actual page would be great from the website, I think, if you're okay
Yes,
with
ma'am.
that.
Because it's got the deliverables on it.
Correct.
And there we go. I'm gonna get a little zoom for Amy again.
Perfect.
I can't see anything.
So, John and I have done a lot of talking about going back to why committees were created in the first place, right? How did we go from just being a board to being a board with two committees, originally just finance and governance, to a board with 4 committees when we added on development and impact. And why we did that was it was meant to help share in the work of the board, to make sure that the people with expertise or knowledge or interest in particular subjects could sort of do some of the lift, right, and then educate the board and the public about what that work looked like. And so when we were reviewing the goals that the board had already talked about for this year, it really seemed like the right time to potentially task the committees each with a goal. Now, we have 4 committees and 3 goals, and so finance, at least for this year, is left off this particular chart of goals. Sean, I'm sure, is devastated as the finance committee chair, but finance's goals are very clear and very precise, and they have the ultimate task of making sure the board is meeting its fiduciary obligations. So I think giving them a pass is not really giving them a pass at all. Instead, they're the ones that are going to keep us out of jail, so it all works. Just joking, no one's going to jail. But as we read the goals and we think about them, right, I think it is really readily apparent about which committee might be tasked with or do the lift for a particular goal. For instance, Board Goal 1, begin the process to regularly monitor and analyze student outcomes through the lenses of diversity, equity, and inclusion, very nicely matches up with the work that Impact has set out to do both last year and in the coming 18 months. Because when we last discussed the goals in that committee, I think there was an acknowledgement that they needed a slightly longer window in order to complete all the work that they had wanted to do. Now, some early deliverables, I'm not going to read them all, were up there, though, that we sort of decided could help demonstrate what that work was. And I wouldn't want necessarily to tell the committee, I'd like the committee's feedback on how they might demonstrate that or how their work would support it. So really, I think the deliverables at this point might just be Like, it's the board's best guess about what outcomes might look like or what we would expect to hear back. But obviously, as with anything, as learning happens, things can change. Board 2, you saw 2 board comments to this already. Governance taking it on, to develop the processes, to include recruitment, to improve onboarding, to outreach and have new committee members come on board and to learn about the work we're doing, to help share the load and the lift that happens. A lot of times we end up having to ask staff to take things on, and that's not the purpose of a committee, right? It's really meant to lighten everybody's load or to share in that experience. And then the third goal, Josh, I'm looking at you.
That's all us. That's all us.
So I'm really hopeful that development will be up for taking on board goal 3. Although, as we talked about tonight in governance, certainly you would have the support of the governance committee as well as the board in achieving that, because for us to outreach and to gain new members means that we should also be participating and helping you and your committee in reconnecting with our community and getting our faces out there. So John, do you have thoughts to add?
I love the concept that while each of these 3 committees is developing their own goals, that also kind of, this will be the first time trying this, taking ownership of a goal. Doesn't mean that the development committee wouldn't then say, hey, other board and committee members, please participate in our goal. But like they would be the ones coming to the board meeting saying, hey, let's give you a quick update on board goal 3. I think it's a neat idea. Love to open it to the floor though, and like, how does that resonate with our board?
Okay, just add, so one other piece to this. So a lot of times you'll hear in board reports like, we met this week, right? Or we met and we discussed things. And it's more descriptive than that. That's obviously being very flippant. But picture it where you have a committee report coming in and they are reporting on, well, this last month in support of board goal 3, we discussed X or we planned Y. And so I think it's a way to sort of help with logging what we're doing towards supporting the board's goals and supporting the strategic plan, but also, again, that guidepost. Sometimes it's when you finish a task, and I think we saw this with Impact, where for the longest time, their sole goal was the strategic plan and the charter, right? And the charter is now good through 27, and so there is some time to take on some of this additional work to reframe things, but then without having a clear goal as set by the board, it can be challenging to know like where is the end zone? Like how do I finish something? So I'm super excited that our goals can be a way for the board to in turn provide feedback to the committees about the work we'd like to see. Sorry.
I totally agree with that last part, Hope, that you mentioned, which is being able to have the board help provide feedback to a committee and vice versa in terms of not only sharing what the committee does, but I think it's really helpful. So my experience on the development committee last year, I think it would be great. I mean, kind of just taking in that piece that Josh kind of, is taking, as a committee, we're taking ownership of. I think it's great to kind of see we're doing things at the local level of, okay, we want to fundraise X, Y, and Z. But I think bringing it back to the board helps us figure out, okay, what's the bigger picture here at this smaller scale that we're constantly looking at? So somebody like me who's had limited experience, new to the board, this is awesome for me to say, hey, I was doing this, oh, this is why that mattered, and trying to bring that back fully and really also help us drive in when we are having conversations with people on the committee. How do we talk about things outside of just our committee, talk about our board, talk about the board, and then how it may impact other committees? So it just kind of resonates all the way through, and I like that feedback loop, and it's kind of a full circle.
Yeah, and if I can piggyback on that, Nirali, that's Monday.
Yeah.
Basically, that's our agenda for Monday, and I encourage anybody on the board or committees, audience that wants to come sit in and kind of hear what we do, get a glimpse of what we're trying to do, please do that, because on that note, that's our agenda Monday, is essentially that.
Making me excited.
I think it's really neat that this is kind of, okay, I'm going to turn this into what I do for my life. So when I calculate drug dosages, I'm a veterinarian, so it's not weird. When I calculate drug dosages, I calculate them, and then I go back and I check that it makes sense in my head, that, I haven't moved a decimal point and I'm going to give 10 times too much or 10 times too little. the fact that we made these goals and then it turns out as we look back at them that, oh, look at that slots into this and that slots into this. I think it shows that we're on the right track with the goals, but also with the committees and kind of what their wheelhouse is.
Very good. I have my computer on my phone. So.
It was weird to see all the lights just go off at the same time. Like Sean, your power. No, now it won't go off. Oh, well. So I guess just in conclusion, did you have any, you don't have to talk, Mrs. Davis,
I
but
would
if you'd
love
like
to.
Okay.
I just want to say thank you to everyone who put the work into these goals, because coming onto the board, it's very clear what those goals are, and that'll help us to stay in our lane and what we're working on, and also hold each other accountable. So I appreciate all the work that went into that. Okay.
Well, I think she means the board lane, Josh.
It makes it very clear what we are doing as a whole board. Yeah.
Feel free to leave impact and and be
So
bored.
hope
But
as like Josh got a meeting on Monday, as we leave tonight and we kind of see these board goals and how committees fit into those.
Yeah.
Just whipping around, where is each committee at on adopted goals for this year? Finance, I believe, has goals set for this year. No.
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
And I always think of finance goals as perpetual.
Me too. That's kind of why I said, I was like, did we approve them? So, okay, so even finance doesn't have goals set. Check.
No, and then impacts were 18 months, and so they do have goals, but
Okay.
I think looking at them and seeing how they fit,
Okay.
both pieces they want to work on independently and the pieces that support the board goal make sense
Right.
at their next meeting. Josh already really has it on his agenda anyway,
Right.
but I think couching Monday's discussion in relation to the goal and not only that piece, but certain other larger pieces that would fit into that makes sense. And then governance begins talking about it tonight. And I think coming back, if not September, might be a little fast, but if we could have goals by October.
No, go ahead. I'm just playing video games with this microphone. Clicking the button.
And just for people at home who can't see it, he's not playing successfully.
But so that's what I was going to kind of ask. So, what do you think best practice is in the timeline for committees? So it is first week of August, let's say. It's the August board meeting. September's probably too soon to have your goals completely fleshed out, but maybe you have them.
I would love it for October.
But by October, if each committee were felt good about it, come back to the October meeting and say our team has already given goals that have been approved by the team. So we can, as a board, look at all the goals and then throw them into our website and say, okay, friends, this is it. October forward, this is what we're working on.
Yes.
And do they include, this is a technicality, but do I include my board goal? The committee, the development committee is taking on board goal 3. Do they make that one of their goals, or they?
For my mind, it's worded as in support of board goal 3. We will do the following, or our goal is to do however you want to word it. Because Sean, I know we're constantly striving to do stuff, and so I don't want to say you're going to have to finish the goal. We can strive to, in striving to support goal area 3, whatever it is. I think it's great to acknowledge what it's in support of, and so if a committee felt hey, yes, goal I'll use governance actually. Taking on 2, but I don't see a problem with there being a goal that says in support of goal area 3. It's not their specific task necessarily, but that doesn't mean that a committee can't support any of the goals and their work if that's where they're driven to do.
So we have the finance chair here.
Gov and Dev.
And Gov, but we gotta make sure Shannon knows that this is kind of what we're working on impact. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, we should be working on that agenda next week anyway, so it'll be good timing. Okay. With that, are there any other agenda items we're expecting in September? No, I don't think so. Probably more goal discussion, or if, any of the committees want feedback on goals, or we need to put the topic on in September, even though I'm not anticipating that, just let John or I know. We can make sure to put on a discussion topic for that for feedback. Reflection. So this is an opportunity for each board member to share something that worked well for them or something that would have been better if. I'm taking technology off the table. Nope, it's coming off because I think
technology is awesome.
it's been great. I mean, I do
Mine
truly
works.
love the fact we continue to record these time capsules. Even if the people sitting next to me are now like having sword fights with microphones. Anyway, but anyway, fine, you can use technology. Sean, I started with you last time, so I won't start with you this time. Josh, what worked well for you, or what would be better if?
I want to, if I may, reflect back to last month's board meeting. We had a lot going on, and we kind of got out of here quick. I really like just us getting to know each other more as a board, and I really like that workshop. And I think it'd be a great idea to do it every year, and I hate to say it, and allow more time for it. I thought that was, I got to learn more about, our co-board members in that 1 hour period than we have, in a whole year of serving on the board. So
Yeah.
I would love to do that more often, or allow more time to
Yeah.
do the workshop.
Yeah, I love it. Thanks for the feedback. We did a full day admin workshop in July that, it was 8 hours, and we left. It was a great day. So yeah, I love it. Sure.
As a new board member, I really appreciated last month's agenda and even this month's, in really talking about all the goals, really the landing, kind of honestly like a little bit more of the administrative understanding of where I can find things more readily. I was always going to the main website, looking for the board documents, and going kind of down there, really knowing where things are really easily. Knowing also the page that we worked on today, which is that Google Sheet, really being able to indicate what we've worked on, kind of being able to do that. I know we may not make it mandatory as part of our board meetings, but this is something that I think even for me personally to say, where's my impact? What am I working towards? That was a really good piece.
Love it.
Puzzle.
Yeah, the more familiar you become with that landing page and really that strategic plan. I mean, I was reflecting with Steve in preparation for tonight. I reread the strategic plan in depth and went through it and got to that section where we talked about assumptions. We wrote these assumptions in 2019. It was pre-COVID, and it was like, wow, none of us assumed the school was going to shut down in 2020.
Yeah.
And so I think again, anchoring yourself in some of these documents and realizing how relevant the work we're doing on a daily basis is to that strat plan. Like inside that strat plan, it really is a roadmap for the work that we're doing as a school, including the expansion of the high school.
I also even like the calendar of all the events that are going
Yeah.
on, because if I want to go see a volleyball
There you
game, or if I
go.
want to go support cross country, it's a great way to connect to the community.
It's good.
My reflection actually kind of builds on what you just said, and John and I have certainly talked about this, and it came up a bit in governance, but taking some time, hopefully at the September meeting, to go back over like how we came up with the mission and vision as part of the onboarding process, but also for new members to the Westlake community, or people following at home, right? Going back through sort of the why it is the way it is. A lot of effort was put into drafting the mission and vision, and it's a piece of who we are. And so doing that both as onboarding, but also the opportunity for education, I think it helps add a lens to when you're looking at the strategic plan and you're logging something, just to know how that all was teased out and the why it was built the way it was.
Yeah. What worked about this meeting, or what would have worked better if? Davis?
I appreciated the time to look over those board goals, especially as I'm onboarding to the board and getting to know all the things. Just that time, and then to hear everyone process through that was really valuable for me.
Sean?
I like the page and being able to actually add the comments. I know that admin has been able to add comments, but if we were able to add comments, I'm not sure that I knew that. So the fact that we can is nice, and it kind of helps keep me accountable. I think kind of like what Josh was saying, that if I know that I can record it, then that helps me know to do it.
I think my reflection is what worked just taking a moment to recognize that so many different leaders come to this room and lead. Amber Husted's here. Without her, so much wouldn't happen. We have both our principals stand up and looking at the work that they're doing. Without each of them, so much wouldn't happen. This board meeting, for the almost decade that I've been sitting here, would not function without Hope Golick. Hope Golick leads this meeting. I wouldn't have dinner tonight if it wasn't for Amy Wells. She does more than that, but like the pieces that we each lead, you know, Amy, we have notes. We were just deep diving to make sure we can create the archive that goes back to 2018, so that it's all very clear on our public website. And Amy Wells is her fingerprint is on every board meeting we've had. So the recognition that everybody brings their expertise to this room, and this room functions at such a high level, is a reflection of all the people that come here. So I think it works well for everybody to feel good about the work they do here.
For me, it was really nice having the principals. What? Oh, that's a great face, too.
That's on YouTube.
You sure you want to take technology off the table tonight?
Yes, I don't.
Oh, say what you were saying. Say what you were saying, please.
Oh, I forgot.
Nice to have the principals in the room.
Yes, thank you. So even though everyone was available to be on the meet, right? It's not like we didn't hear from principal, like over COVID, that we didn't. Having people in the room, it's just different. Like I feel more able to ask questions, and I look really forward to, I know there's plans to have others come and present at future meetings, but to have that opportunity again in person, it's a whole different, we did lose connection. And so for me, and my reflection is, technology be danged, I'm really looking forward to rebuilding those connections.
Yes, we will have future presentations from Jen Kaihu and Kevin Seamus. And if there is anybody you would like to hear from in this organization you think is relevant to the conversation we have here, please feel free to reach out to me, and we'll see if we can make that happen.
Okay, I think it was the last one. Unless Steve and Amy, do you want to? No. Yes. No.
I appreciate everybody's flexibility and sense of humor tonight.
That's perfect.
That works.
I think Sean's comment about looking at goals kind of both ways, I appreciated that. Realizing that the board will meet only 2 more times before the end of the school year. So there's a short amount of time to get things done. So I appreciate that. Starting up with me.
Interesting thought. Yeah, it is an interesting thing, because it's the second day of school. We're like, oh, I miss you guys already.
I know you have we have a couple people in the room have kiddos leaving for college, but can we slow it down? Because I only got 2 years left, and yeah, I know. So can we not talk about the end of the school year already? Just give me a couple days. I'll catch up to you. I'm just not there yet. With that, we will go ahead and take a 5-minute break while we go into closed session regarding real property negotiations. We will not be coming back onto YouTube. At this point, we will go ahead and adjourn the meeting, as we anticipate no report out of that closed session. So with that, Amy, I'll adjourn the meeting at 7:55.